JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, gun attack at Germantown shop leaves one dead and four hospitalized. Four people are in hospital and one is dead, following a gun attack at a shop in Germantown, St. James, on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 21-year-old Garrett Leslie, otherwise called Hush, of Backwood in Germantown. Those in hospital are in serious but stable condition. The police report that about 5:30 p.m., Leslie and the others were at the bar located in the community of Backwood in Germantown when a white Toyota Vitz drove up. Three men reportedly exited the vehicle and opened fire on patrons at the bar, resulting in 5 people being shot. The gunmen escaped in the waiting motor car. The police were summoned, and upon arrival, the injured men were rushed to hospital, where Leslie was pronounced dead and the others admitted. Two Westmoreland hotel workers mowed down by a woman who said she fell asleep at the wheel. Two hotel workers were mowed down last evening in Belmont in Bluefields, Westmoreland, and are said to be admitted in serious condition at the Savlamar Public General Hospital. At the scene, the driver of the ill-fated Toyota accident motor car, who identified herself as Jodian, said she briefly fell asleep at the wheel. "I fell asleep, and when I opened my eyes, I saw a car coming and I swerved. I didn't know they were there," she said, as she climbed into the back of a police vehicle. Unconfirmed reports are that the hotel workers were walking home in the direction of White House when they were struck by the car that was traveling from the opposite direction, heading towards Savlamar. "Me hear the somebody under the car bawl out, 'Help, help!' We assist them. We lift up the car and get out the first one on male. And then him tell we said Jay, the female, the under the car. And we lift up the car to get her out," a good Samaritan who did not wish to be named said. The man said that after lifting up the car, the utility pole caught fire and he ran in fear of his life. The community was left without electricity after the pole broke in half with the wires torn down. He said an ambulance later arrived on the scene and transported the two injured persons to the hospital. A manager of the hotel reportedly rushed to the hospital on hearing the news. The two injured persons are said to be employees of the Bluefields Bay Villas in Bluefields, Westmoreland. Rider charge after student injured in bike stunt gone bad. The Gainesville police in St. Catherine have charged a man who allegedly hit a student while performing stunts on a motorcycle last week. 20-year-old Jamie Riley, a labor of Heartland District in St. Mary, has been charged with operating an unlicensed bike and having no motorcycle driver's license. Reports are that on October 7, Riley was driving a motorbike along the Gainesville Main Road. He reportedly lost control of the bike while trying to put it on one wheel. The bike hit the student, who was a bystander. The police later seized the motorcycle and charged Riley. Riley is scheduled to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on November 23. Man killed with Rudolph Boxer Shaw identified. The man shot dead alongside St. Catherine's most wanted, Rudolph Boxer Shaw, has been identified as 29-year-old O'Shane Burchell. Burchell was wanted for several violent crimes. He was charged for murder at age 19, but secured his freedom when the case was put before the court. Shaw and Burchell were shot and killed by members of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime CTOC unit on Saturday at a guest house on Sandringham Avenue off Mullines Road in Kingston. Shaw, who escaped from the Central Police Station lockup, was facing multiple murder charges. A .45 pistol and a 9mm pistol were recovered from the men. A woman who was in the company of Sean Burchell was taken into custody. Karate Georgie to head St. James Public Order Operations. Legendary crime fighter Clive Karate Georgie Lawrence has returned to St. James, this time as head of operations in the Community Services Department at the St. James Municipal Corporation. Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Councillor Leroy Williams, confirmed the appointment, which he said was made after careful deliberation to select the ideal candidate for the advertised post. It's because of his background as a former police officer while he was taken on, because we needed someone of his stature to work in the Municipal Police Department, and we thought that, as somebody who had the experience in terms of policing and so on, he would be the right person. The ex-cop was one of the most feared crime fighters in the Western region during his heyday. He is reputed to have single-handedly quietened the lawless and held the respect of the most influential in the tourist capital. But while its exploits drew rave review in the past, the business community is still uncertain if this appointment is the solution to solve the long-standing public disorder that has plagued Montego Bay. Dealing with vending is totally different from dealing with criminals, but I suppose that you would have gone through training that would have been able to deal with any situation. Oral Haven, president of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, said of the ex-cop, "I'm sure that the St. James Municipal Corporation would have considered all those things and their decision in selecting him to lead this group and ensuring that vending is managed." Continuing, Haven said, "We support anything that has to do with the maintenance of public order, and with his experience as a law enforcement officer, it can only argue well for Montego Bay to have him in this capacity. We welcome the fact that there is an entity that focuses on public order instead of the municipal police, but we need to see his competence in handling public order issues before we make an assessment." In his policing career, Lawrence is reputed to have used innovative strategies to capture high-profile criminals, including his kung fu skills to disarm gunmen. Lawrence, who joined the Jamaica Constabulary Force in 1983 and served in Montego Bay and its environs for 3 decades, will work alongside the municipal police officers to manage illegal vending activities along the commercial corridors and at the Charles Gordon Market. Suspected St. James murder-suicide victim identified. Lawmen in St. James have identified the woman who was killed during the suspected murder-suicide at a house in Paradise Heights in the parish on Friday night. She's 28-year-old Georgian Reed, a waitress of a Paradise Heights address. Reed's partner, 42-year-old hotel worker Ilya Russell, was also found dead. According to the Constabulary's Communications Unit, cops were alerted to a house in the community about 7:30 Friday evening after residents reportedly heard a woman crying for help. On their arrival, Russell was seen lying on his veranda with a stab wound to his upper body, while Reed was seen lying on her back. The man's stab wound is suspected to be self-inflicted. The police were unable to ascertain Reed's cause of death as she had no visible wounds. They were both taken to the nearby Cornwall Regional Hospital where they were pronounced dead. In the community on Monday morning, one man said the couple recently moved to the community and had maintained a low profile. "As some new people them, so we never know them good. But me just hear say the woman stab up the man," said the resident who requested not to be named. "Me go look, and the woman no get no stab. He come like a strangler," he added. Jamaica to receive 50 new garbage trucks this month. A total of 50 garbage trucks are to arrive on the island this month. Prime Minister Andrew Holness confirmed the shipment in a post on his Twitter account this morning. A video of the trucks was also posted with the caption, "The trucks are on their way to Jamaica." Holness noted that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, funds had to be diverted from purchasing 100 trucks. The 50 trucks are expected to bolster the operations of the National Solid Waste Management Authority. Inadequate garbage collection has been plaguing several communities and commercial spaces across the country. Residents affected by demolition in Bernard Lodge have filed a case against government, says attorney. Attorney at law Charles A. Ganga-Singer suggested that residents affected by last week's demolition of houses on the outskirts of Clifton in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine, have a viable case in bringing legal proceedings against the government. Ganga-Singh said the notices issued to the residents to vacate the property are not sufficient, and instead, a court order should have been sought. The opposition People's National Party has said it will be assisting the residents with legal fees. Speaking on Monday during an interview, Ganga-Singh said the correct procedure was not followed by the owner of the property, Sugar Company of Jamaica, SCJ Holdings. Even if the entity had given the residents notice, he argued that the notice should have been a warning that SCJ Holdings would take them to court to get an order to remove them from the land. But it was not proper procedure, he said, for the company to simply demolish the structures. The proper procedure is that you still need the court to sanction what you're doing. That's why the court is there, he maintained. The attorney also argued that the residents whose structures were destroyed should be compensated, regardless of how the land spaces were acquired. It's basic if you go back to the root of it. Regardless of how those persons acquire the property, whether dishonestly or otherwise, or in their attempt to get adverse possessions, or were tricked by a person, the bottom line is that they're in possession of their various places of abode, he suggested, insisting SCJ Holdings decided to ignore and disrespect the judiciary when it destroyed the residents' properties. In sports news, West Indies win first World Cup warm-up game. The West Indies began their warm-ups at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in Australia on a winning note, getting the better of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, by 17 runs. Sent into bat at the Junction Oval in Melbourne, the West Indies were made to suffer, with only Brandon King 64 and captain Nicholas Brown 46 really impacting the scoreboard, as the regional side stuttered to 152 for 9 from their 20 overs. In reply, the UAE, despite not losing as many wickets, never fared much better, getting to 135 for 6, thanks to Mohammed Wasim's unbeaten 69 from 52 deliveries. Zawar Farid's low order batting, 29 from 14 balls, made the game interesting. King, the bright spark of the West Indies innings, got to his tally from just 45 balls, smashing 7 fours and 2 sixes, while Perron, whose 46 came off 31 deliveries, smashed 5 maximums for his total. The two thrived despite the bowling of Johan Siddiqui, who was remarkable in his 4 overs, bagging 5 wickets or just 13 runs. He was ably assisted by Zahoor Khan, who ended with figures of 2 for 24. When the West Indies bowled, the UAE batters found Raymond Reefer difficult to contend with, the medium pacer, ending with 3 for 17 from his 4 overs, while Odean Smith was unusually stingy, claiming 1 scalp for just 20 runs from his 4. Obed McCoy came in for some amount of stick, going for 65 runs. The West Indies will next be in action on Wednesday, where they face the Netherlands at the MCG in Melbourne. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.